Hello, everyone, and welcome. What are the activities of an enlightened being? Well, there is a common misunderstanding that when one wakes up from the waking state dream, that the dream goes away and in its place a better one emerges. In actuality, the dream simply continues as it did before. Maya or illusion does not change. The difference is that you now know Maya as Maya and that the body mind is involved. You enter a new phase of life. It is similar to lucid dreaming. The dream does not go away. The only thing that changes is our recognition of the illusion that what you experience is not the ultimate reality of what you truly are. Just as a scientist simultaneously sees the table and yet knows it is to be all atoms, so a sage sees the table and at the same time knows it to be Brahman or God. In both cases, there is no conflict between the sense perception and the mental knowledge. This allows one to become playful and approach life as a celebration. You live in the timeless moment and the contentment of your aloneness, permitting the mind to chatter on since you are no longer married to it. A sage or a jnani sees both variety, which is illusion, and unity, which is reality, simultaneously. He sees both. He sees a table and knows it as self or God in a single simultaneous operation. This is the test of knowing. He is fully aware of the differences in the world, yet is aware of the underlying unity. A person who expresses the physical and the spiritual at the same time is a person who is fully enlightened. It is important to note that a sage or an enlightened being still has an impersonal ego or a working ego or a being ego as long as he functions through a body. In any situation, a sage's body will get involved or react based on his genes, which is 90%, and up-to-date conditioning, which is about 10%. A reaction is something that is chosen instinctively. React means act as before. So, he will continue as the same body-mind organism which has been basically formed or programmed at the moment of conception. A sage has the freedom, however, not to attend to the consequences or happenings by refraining from rising of his thinking ego to get personally involved further and by turning inward. His identification is with consciousness or pure love. He understands that actions taking place through all body-mind organisms are not of any individual's actions, but are part of the impersonal functioning or Maya. Experience simply goes right through him without any resistance. He reacts biologically in vertical time, but he has no egoic reaction in horizontal time. Similarly, in an enlightened being, a desire can arise, but the sage does not pursue the desire unless it is God's will. He does not thus identify himself with thoughts, feelings, but simply witnesses them. They get cut off without any further involvement or engagement or judgment. No fear, no problems attach to them. A sage is in duality, not in dualism. He is back in the now, just like a child. However, if the situation demands, a sage may respond, that is, deliberately act in the interest of totality, without any tint of personal doership. His action is rooted in inaction. Such a person no longer makes decisions based solely on fears and desires, which are the hallmarks of a separate self. He will start to interpret experience from the point of view of the self or God. Therefore, the notion that a sage should never get angry or never pretend to anger is erroneous. He may do so if it is not in his egoistic interest, if he sees harm is being done, or if it is for the benefit of the others or the world. Did Krishna not urge Arjuna to fight, even to kill? A body part infected with cancer may be removed in the interest of keeping the organ working. Legs infected with disease may be amputated in the interest of keeping an individual alive. A sage will live as he pleases, above codes, above rules, but this does not mean that he will do wrong, harm others, or cause suffering. For his self-identification with them will prevent this. Masters are those who have chosen only love in every instance, in every moment, in every circumstance. The enlightened man does not criticize or praise men, but he does criticize or praise actions. He does not speak ill of persons, but he must condemn or discourage wrong actions and praise or support right actions. He must set an example and guide people who into the paths of right action, which are stages of discipline that will gradually lead them towards reality or Brahman, whereas wrong actions lead them away from reality or Brahman. Thinking mind is a conceptualizing mind, the me. What is absent after enlightenment is the thinking mind or dualism, the me distinguishing itself from the other. The conceptualizing thinking mind, the mind which draws upon memories and project fears, hopes and ambitions, that is absent. The working mind or the embodied enlightened mind is what remains. Working mind is merely concerned with what is happening, with what it is doing right now and right here. The working mind may draw memory for its present work, but it does not project anything into the future. It draws on the memory only to the extent of the job at hand. That is the big difference. The thinking mind and the working mind may also be called as the knowing mind and the being mind, respectively. Then there is no subject perceiving an object. When the me and the other drop off, what remains is the impersonal love. There is only the happening of a perception without judging, a mere witnessing. Witness is the form self takes in embodied enlightenment. Working mind only knows love and acts in the interest of love without any choosing or judging. Remember, love is the only law that applies in the realm of consciousness. An ordinary person does not accept duality of interconnected opposites, and he chooses one of the opposites, which is dualism. He only wants good and not bad, beauty and not ugliness, etc., not realizing that one cannot exist without the other. So, in his judgment, he chooses one against the other for his personal interests. Thus, the individual ends up miserable in dualism. A sage never chooses good against bad. He simply moves just like a sunflower towards the direction which is that of good, that of love. His nature is love, completeness, ananda, and he has recognized it. What needs to be done in a loving and dharmic way, righteous way, becomes what he wants to do. A realized being will not violate responsibility or dharma because he or she is in harmony with it. If you are in harmony with the world, there is nothing to follow or avoid. The law applies to one who knows a little, not to children who do not know anything, or the enlightened who knows the essence of everything and so in line with everything. Therefore, total acceptance is peace. Follow the flow of life, but change your attitude towards life. Remember, choosing or judging involves thinking or doing, and that will further entangle you in samsara, the wheel of karma. Let me end this talk with a quote from Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Accept both the polarities because both are there together. Go with them because they are. Don't choose one against the other. Thank you.